and we'll do a little countdown. Okay, good. We are recording. All right. Hello, ladies, and welcome to Women Thrive Virtual Summit. I'm your host, Roshana Price, here today, and we have an amazing talk for you. We are here with Pamela, Chanel, Monash, David, who is going to give us a phenomenal talk about reinventing your life and how to embrace the change that is coming. Now, ladies, we want you to know that this is a second recording because Chanel, as she likes to be called, did a great job live. However, we had technical difficulties the whole way. So most of you, if you were on, you may have heard the audio, but now we're doing a full video because we want you to have all of the great information, all of the content, so that you can really embrace the change that is happening in your life. So if you're watching this on the replay, we still want you to make sure that you reach out, find Pamela, Chanel, David online. She has 4 names, so I'm going to make sure I give them to you and write them down. Even now, if you're watching the replay, still take a picture, find her on Facebook, tag, let her know that you have seen this replay. So it's Pamela, Chanel, Monash, David, and she is going to be talking us about the reinvented life. So Pamela, I will turn it over to you to get us started.
Well, thank you so much, Roshana. What a pleasure to be here again with everyone. This Women's Virtual Summit has been absolutely amazing. This week has been incredible. I just have to give a shout out to the founder of the summit, to all the incredible speakers on the summit. Everyone has just poured in, and that really is a wonderful way to introduce what I'm doing. The reinvented life is all about showing up. And it starts with the story, which I love sharing stories of the hummingbird. And the hummingbird is analogous to what we do at the reinvented life because it's all about flight. It's all about moving forward. And the hummingbird, we can all picture how that's an analogous to life, how we move forward. Yet the hummingbird also can fly sideways, almost flutter in place, and it stays in motion. There's been many times in all of our lives that we have just felt like we were just kind of staying in place. And the hummingbird is the only known bird that can also fly backwards. And again, analogous to life, there are times where we feel like we're kind of moving backwards, but the key is that the hummingbird always stays in motion. And so we always could be making progress when we stay in motion. And my reinvented life story starts with a journey of health and wellness. I'm very open about this journey because I feel like if we have discovered something that can help others, then that's our gift to give. And so my reinvented life started with a health and wellness journey. 6-7 years ago, I was morbidly obese. I had high blood pressure, high sugars, high cholesterol. You know, my doctor basically told me I was a walking time bomb and did not know if I would make my next annual exam. Today, fitness and health and wellness is such a part of who I am. And it is the story of how I got there that I think serves as inspiration for others. Today, I've lost over 160 pounds, and I'm on my way to being the best health I can be, the most fit I could be. It's still a journey. But I think the important part for people to realize it's the thoughts that went into making that transition, making that shift, reinventing myself, which was at the core base of how this was all born that I think is important. And I've developed 5 principles in the reinvented life that as part of your journey, you can put in place at any stage with anything you're doing. Because it's not just about reinventing your health, it's about reinventing potentially relationships. It's about reinventing maybe what work you do or maybe what community dedication you're doing. Reinventing is about the core of that word, which is about invent. And invent is all about creation and all about creating something. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I am so honored to speak amongst yourself and all of the other speakers that are part of this summit, because there's a passion here about how we can help women around the world. And that's what I love. You know, we may have been all together physically had the summit taken another form, but in this way, I've been able to watch people and speakers from all around the world all week. People have reached out to me from South Africa, from North America, from the Netherlands, from Australia, New Zealand, England, I mean, literally all over the world. And so it's a universal theme that we're in right now. And, you know, 6-7 weeks ago, when literally the world had almost a global reset, at the snap of a finger, the entire world needed to reinvent. And so how more timely is this than now?
I mean, Chanel, all the things that you're saying are so true. What I love about your story is the fact that you have this personal journey. Weight loss is really the backdrop of the learning experience that you had, the shock. You talk about it in your book, how it was like this shock of this conversation you had with your doctor that really you had to go away and process and really kind of own before you could start to move forward. So can you share with the ladies, as you continue, all of the ways in which even now they can start to walk through a process similar to what you did?
Yes, and it's coming to terms with that process that you talk about, is coming to terms with what is relevant in your life today. It should be no shock to someone who is intelligent, who is out there in the world, who has all sorts of gifts to give, that I was over 300 pounds and morbidly obese. But whether it be that or other aspects of your life, we tend to focus, and stereotypical, I'm speaking to women, it could be anyone, we tend to focus on everyone else and everything else around us. And so this state of a health crisis, I had to look deep. I had to look deep first at how could I not have addressed this earlier, and then quickly realized that I needed to be in gratitude that I had a chance to address it. You know, it's, you know, you pay attention to your work, my career, incredible. But I hadn't paid attention to me and the core of me. And I think an important message here for people is I had a limiting belief, many limiting beliefs. One of them being that it was selfish to pay attention to yourself. But what I realized, it's actually very selfless, because when you can become stronger, when you are more empowered, when you are more an authentic version of yourself, you can show up in a much stronger way. And it is those limiting beliefs that I had in terms of all areas of my life. And it's a process still discovering. When I had to lose all that weight, it wasn't about I infused healthy beverages into my life, I infused new foods, but I also had to infuse fitness, and I had to infuse exercise, and that was something that was never part of my being. And so it was the limiting belief that I was not athletic that was the beginning of the true reinventing of my life. I started out, in the key to everything in this journey is small steps. We want to create wins. We want to create wins. And so my journey, my health and wellness journey, my fitness journey started with one push-up. That took 3 weeks to do. It started with like 3-pound hand weights. It started with a 50-yard to 100-yard walk that I was breathless in. But every day I was connected with supportive people. And that was the key. Who you allow and what you allow around your life's table will determine the speed and the extent of your reinvention. And so every day we'd walk. Every day we'd walk together. I'd walk a little farther. I'd walk a little farther. One day I had walked a quarter mile. And I thought I had won an Olympic gold. Like, I did not know I had it in me to walk a quarter mile. 9 months later, I crossed the finish line of the San Francisco Half Marathon. 13 miles. Up those hills, down those hills of San Francisco. But the key is it was just step by step. Was it easy? No. I had to stop. I had to sit down. I didn't think I could go the whole way. I mean, I barely made it. And I had to actually sit for quite a while of it. But I made it. And I crossed that finish line. And to me, it was more than a personal accomplishment. It was to share what is possible when you embrace that change.
That is amazing. Every time I get chills when I hear it, because you did something that so often women in business, women in life, when the hard place comes, you set out for a goal. A half marathon in San Francisco, that's not easy. And when in the middle or 3/4 of the way, it gets tough. And you did something, you sat down, gave yourself a moment, and then you kept going. And there was probably moments and thoughts of like, maybe I should give up, or maybe you should stop, or what were you thinking? Share with us some of the things that you thought and how you were able to really get going and to finish, because you did finish.
Yes. So that's exactly the point. And it's the same thoughts I've taken when I consider things in business, or I consider things in community involvement. We don't always know the exact ending and how it will go. You can visualize it. I visualized it. I visualized walking over the Golden Gate Bridge, running over parts of it. I mean, I had the whole thing mapped in my mind. Not that I would have to sit in a bench for part of it and just get the energy that I needed to do. But the thoughts that went through my mind is just that, is that they're just thoughts. And many times what holds us back is not even real. And so what really got me through was that it wasn't even real that I wasn't athletic. It wasn't even real that I wouldn't be able to make it. It wasn't even real, as it is with many things in life, that we're unable to do something. But it's the principles of those actions and those thoughts that we take, which is the beginning of those 5 principles. And what kept me going during that, and in many other aspects of my life, is that those actions and thoughts then become habits. And those habits become routines. Those routines become lifestyles, and then embedded and ingrained into who we are. So when we want to make a shift, it's a lot harder than just writing something down and having a sustainable change. We have to realize that in some respects, it's like going against gravity. We're going against the grain of ourself. And to fit in new things, we have to get rid of some of those limiting thoughts. And that is really at the core in the book. I reference it in several ways. One of them is just the switching of gears. It's like riding a bike, or the changing of a lens. If we just put in a different thought about something. When we honor ourselves, when we are the truest to ourselves, that is considered personal justice. And personal justice leads to social justice. So imagine links in a chain. If every link is stronger, together we're stronger in committing. Like this summit, this is like women around the world holding hands, grabbing hands, becoming a very strong link, contributing in part of what we're doing to a global fund for women. There's nothing different than that than crossing the finish line of a half marathon and showing people what is possible.
So the possibilities are endless. When you speak about it, when you talk about shifting gears, seeing a new lens, whatever the analogy needs to be for people, for the women that are listening, they can figure out what's going to work for them. And you said something that it's all about the understanding that you don't have to hold on to these thoughts. These thoughts are just that, they're thoughts. They actually don't have any power. They really don't live anywhere unless you let them. That's basically what I heard you saying. Is that a good way to think about it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the key to what you're saying, and I make all the chapters in the book fun, but one of them is like a someday world. You know, how many times do we all have a project or have an idea or have something we want to be up to in life, and we are going to get to it someday? Well, if this global reset has taught us anything, it has taught us that we can live in the here and now, and that we are enough ourselves, and those limiting beliefs that we have are only living and breathing because the thoughts that we have are things. And so if we take a coffee cup or any kind of vessel you can think of, and if you fill it up with liquid, to fit more liquid in there, you got to pour some of it out. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is all about, is not waiting till someday, but waiting till now. Because at this very moment, when people's whole schedules are shifted, whole worlds in some way are shifted, what a better time. And to me, I look at this time as a chance for people to reevaluate, to kind of take inventory of their life. Again, going back to that original thought, is what we are doing relevant to our lives today? And when we take a look at that, it gives us the possibility to recreate whatever we want. Again, that place of creation. How are we expressing ourselves? Who are we reaching out to that we haven't reached out to in a long time? What are we creating? Are we painting? Are we going back to musical instruments, as an example, that we haven't played in years? The creativity, are we creating business plans that we finally wanted to sit and do? When I take a look with businesses at where they are and where they want to go, or individuals doing the same, where they are and where they want to go, it always goes back to, am what I'm doing today relative towards that goal?
So good. It's the understanding, what am I doing today? How do you keep moving forward to really embrace the change that you want to see? So tell us more about the 5 principles so that all of the ladies can take notes, know how to follow them. Share more.
Yes. So the 5 principles, principle number 1 starts with our actions and our thoughts, and the realization that those are actually tangible things. Even our thoughts, what's on the inside, is very tangible. I was speaking today on a broadcast show earlier about this point. Everything's happening in our lives around us. We're not museums, though. It's not perfect, right? We have kids home. We have things going on. We have maybe 2 spouses working at home, fighting for office space. I mean, these are the realities of what's going on. Someone working in the kitchen, someone working in the home office. The reality is those actions and thoughts surrounding those changes is what will shift the trajectory. So there's frustrations that can come up, right? Kids fighting, this happening, this is all real life. Yet, being in gratitude that we have our children, being in gratitude that we have our spouses, being in gratitude that we have a place to live, being in gratitude that we can put ourselves in purpose to inspire other women. That's step 1, is shifting whatever it is that we have to be grateful for. Do that. That moves those thoughts into step 2, the second principle, which is a habit. When we feel blessed, when we feel in gratitude, when we know externally, the outside, there's going to be frustrations. There is no doubt. For some, it's dealing with people hit by this horrific virus or other diseases in their lives. This is not made to feel that it's all rosy and perfect. But my suggestion is what we want to form habits on, be it positive, relevant things for us. Now, the more those thoughts happen, those become habits. And so now you're filling up the cup with new things, new thoughts, new habits. Those habits then become routines. So now we have a routine that we can put in place because we've experienced how to take our actions and thoughts into habits, shift them around, and now we have a routine. Eventually, those routines become a new lifestyle, and then ingrained and embedded into who we are. So it's those 5 principles. You can take that with anything in your life, something you want to start, something you want to modify, something you want to put in place with kids. I have created that scenario for kids with all sorts of reward systems that are involved, with people within their career, within business, during retirement, whatever stage in life you're in, you can take anything and fit them into those 5 principles. And that's what we do with the Reinvented Life, with coaching, with masterminds, with the book. Any way we can to get the information out to people and customize it for them.
Yeah, and you just said something, because you have in the value vault, let me get it right, the value vault, that there's a special offer that you have. So even those of you that are right now, you're watching the replay, you still have a chance to take advantage of that. Why don't you tell all the ladies about what you're offering in the value vault?
Yes, I have several ladies that have already reached out about this. I'm going to do a post-summit, of course, virtual mastermind group. And so I've offered that to everyone at 50% off. It's $249. I also do a 30-minute, and I put this in the vault as well, a 30-minute complimentary consultation. You can reach out to me on thereinventedlife.com. There's a place to contact, but just put a note in the comments. Or we've gone virtual in the last couple of months, so I'm excited about that. You can go to reinvent.mobipop, that's MOBIPOP.info, and that's all texting, all mobile. You can also send me a message there. And then I think the important thing is to know that I've also put in the vault all my notes to what we're talking about. So someone can print those out. It can serve as a reminder. It can be an outline for them. They follow the book, and the book's on Amazon, and on both those places, thereinventedlife.com or reinvent.mobipop.info, there's a link to Amazon, and they can get the book, Kindle version, the version in paperback. But I think the important thing here is to realize is that transformation is possible. And, you know, our minds don't embrace change. That's why I make it a thought. I highlight that when you embrace change and when you go through those steps, even if you have a little fallback, or even like in the book, it's a rubber band, and when you stretch it, you can picture that you're evolving and you're growing. When that rubber band goes back into place a little bit, it doesn't ever go back to its exact shape. It's grown a little. And so we grow with each step. And that's what I want to leave people with, is that we are all such a gift. But it's in the receiving of those gifts, for all our listeners, for all our viewers, for all the women out there. It's in the receiving of the gift that change is possible. That will help enhance and inspire so many more women around the world. It's like the hummingbird. I just want this to take flight as it is already in a bigger migration, right? So that we can inspire more and inspire each other and inspire each other.
Woo, that is fire right there. Yes, be like the hummingbird, take flight, have a bigger migration. So ladies, take other women with you along your journey. Share your transformation, because as you are reinventing your life, you can be the inspiration someone needs to start reinventing theirs. And I love the rubber band analogy. It just paints such a good picture, because once you stretch it, even if it comes back, it is never quite the same. And the same is true for us. So thank you, Chanel, for joining us, for being here, for doing this re-recording. So ladies, if you're watching, make sure that you find Pamela, Chanel, Monash, David on Facebook. You can find her. You can also go to thereinventedlife.com so that you can engage with her. Take advantage of everything that is in the Value Vault. And ladies, if you're listening, you can still join the membership of Women in Business. Be a part of this growing global group of women that are in business, that are thriving together. So there is still an opportunity for you to take advantage of the special discount offer for the monthly membership. It is $29. That is a huge discount where you get a ton of resources in this growing community. So make sure that you do that. You can go to the womeninbusiness.club. It's womeninbusiness.club to get your membership, to learn more about all of the benefits that are there. And we want you to stay connected. Make sure, again, you go to Facebook, find Pamela, Chanel, Monash, David, get to know her, get to know the other speakers, and make sure you join the Women Thrive Virtual Summit Facebook group. That's where all of these resources are, and that's where you can continue to connect with all of the speakers. So we thank you so much for being here. Chanel, any final remarks before we close out today?
Well, I just want to thank you for being such a gracious host. And my final thought for women is this: go with love. You know, when we are from here, from our hearts, it makes all the difference. There's some incredible corporate accomplishments, but there's nothing that I have felt more in purpose for and more in passion about than this reinvented life, because it's a universal thought, and it's something that everyone can put something, small or big, small steps at a time, into their life from our hearts. So love to all, and thank you again for a wonderful host.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey. I am Roshana Price, your host. You heard it here. Go in love, ladies. Go in love, and we will see you back here soon. Bye.